As a reminder, please note that board meetings are being recorded for the convenience of those unable to attend this video conference. A recording and closed captioning will be posted to the BERS YouTube channel following the meeting. Alex, please call.
I have a script, I can
Please call
do
the
it.
roll.
Thanks, Darren.
Oh, I didn't know you could hear us, all right, good.
Yes, we can hear you.
Here.
Here.
She's here.
Here.
Yeah.
Present.
Here.
Present.
Here.
Present. John Dorset representing Comptroller Brad Lander.
Here.
Frank Sarabelli for John Madrick.
Stop here.
You said it right.
Zachary present.
Alex, thank you. All right. First item on the agenda is calendar item 1, noting of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Retirement held on April 17th, 2024. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Second.
Tony, second, Effie. All in favor of approving the minutes for April 17, 2024, please respond in favor.
Aye.
In favor. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay. The next item on this afternoon's agenda is an update from the Executive Director, Sandy Rich.
Give me 90 seconds.
Adam.
I'd like to identify that our MCU unit and Catherine Diaz and Allison Taylor-Thevin in particular got us awarded the Savings Champion Award. It's an annual industry respected award. Very nice. I'd also like to acknowledge Salil Mehta. Salil has put together our asset liability and cash flow modeling along with the help of the actuaries department. He's actually filed this paper in an academic journal, expects it to be accepted. He was presented an award for this work just last week, and I just want everyone to know that. I'll send out more detail on both of these things in an email. I wanted to let you know that our sublease here is up in June of 2026. We are engaged with Seville. We are engaged with a minority-owned architect that's helping us make a decision about where we will put our new offices. Highly likely it'll be here, but we are in competition for a number of locations in downtown Manhattan. Midtown's too expensive. Brooklyn's even more expensive. It's wild. But anyway, that's coming. I'd like you to know we pay $2.2 million a year for the space here. We expect that rate to go up. We had a very favorable sublease arrangement for the company that had to vacate this space and left all the furniture and refrigeration and technology, which is one of the reasons this will probably be the cheap place to stay. But we should expect, this is gonna cost us $2.5 to $3 million to stay here. And just remember, we were asked by the DOE to leave our facility in Brooklyn. And that's coming at us in a year and a half from now, but there'll be more updates coming. Another way to introduce the idea that we'll be voting on the budget tonight for fiscal 2025. People have seen that. We reviewed it a few months ago. Daniel is on this call as Chitra Subramaniam, our Director of Fiscal Ops, if there are any questions. But just understand, the budget we approve does not yet contemplate the pressure on this organization from auto enrollment. Remember, auto enrollment passed last year by the governor is likely, could add 40% to our member population, which means a related increase in transaction volume. That won't hit us for a year or so from the October 1 deadline for opt-outs. But we will probably want to consider adding staff before that to train them up and make them. So expect a budget mod request probably in September or October, and that will be coming. So something to think about as you approve this budget. We'll be revisiting that question again. An update on our MSS. The two perpetrators of the cyber incident from this organization in 2021, one was prosecuted and been incarcerated for 2.5 years. The other one is still at large. We continue to cooperate with the FBI and New York Police Department's cybersecurity organization. And just wanted to give you an update on that because we're very happy they found one of them. And then finally, there are educational opportunities coming up in July and August, which I will send out an email so we don't burn any more time on that. And then I will just tell you that I sent out an email today calling your attention to a webinar July 27th by a gentleman named Mark Higgins. Very excellent analysis. I recommend it. And then for the really obsessive investment folks, I found a very interesting monthly report and video webinar broadcast from BlackRock. It's called The Student of the Market. It's on demand. It's updated monthly. Very interesting analysis, very helpful stuff. I sent out an email on that. Anyone has any questions, be happy to answer them. Sorry, that was more than 90 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy. The next item on this afternoon's agenda are calendar items 2 to 17, the ordinary business of BERS. May I have a motion to consider calendar items 2 to 17? Tony, can I have a second?
I second.
Ahisha, thank you.
Tony and Anita, right? Or?
Maisha and Anita.
Yeah.
Alex, please tell us about the ordinary business of BERS. Thank you, Alex. We will now vote on these items. All in favor of approving calendar items 2 to 17, please respond in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Alice just entered at 4:44.
Alice just entered for the record.
Should be extra for next week.
Okay. The motion passes. The next item for this afternoon's meeting is an attorney-client session. Karen, please turn off the recording. Everyone who is not a trustee, attorney, or BERS executive management, please step out of the room. Recording.
Okay, recording has resumed.
Notify everybody else who needs to have on as well. Thank you. We are back in public session. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 18, authorization of the rebalancing of funds of the Board of Education Retirement System. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Tony? Second, Effie, thank you. New York City Actuary Marek
Tiskovich.
Tiskovich is here to discuss this agenda item.
Thanks. So this is a routine and annual rebalancing of certain BERS internal funds. By statute, the Office of the Actuary is required to perform this rebalancing calculation each year. The rebalancing is on paper. There's no physical selling or buying of assets. These internal accounts get out of balance for a variety of reasons, including actuarial gains and losses and what account investment income is initially allocated to. The end result is the variable fund within the qualified pension plan is overfunded by about $6.9 million. It requires a transfer to the contingent reserve fund. Likewise, the TDA is overfunded by about $99 million, which also requires a transfer to the contingent reserve fund. A resolution to perform these transfers was included in my memo. Happy to answer questions. Yeah, well, it's just moving.
Quick question. Recognize, thank you. What happens to the money in the contingent fund? Is it invested exactly the same way as it was in the other fund, or it's different?
It's invested the same way. It's all, as far as, it's all one big,
Okay,
but just internally for accounting reasons, they're in different buckets.
thank you.
Question? Thank you, Merrick. We will now vote on this. All in favor of approving calendar item 18, please respond in favor. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 19, adoption of the actuary's recommendation regarding the tier 3, 4, and 6 loan insurance premium rate for fiscal year 2025. May I have a motion to consider? Can I, a second?
Second.
All right, Merrick?
This is for insurance for outstanding loans of member contributions in case of an active member's death. The amount of this insurance is currently 0.2%. It's been as high as 0.5%. Our analysis in the memo shows that 0.2% is still a reasonable amount. Using the most recent mortality tables used in your evaluations and also using the demographics of the group who's eligible to take out the loans. So my recommendation is reflected in the memo and the proposed resolution, and it's to keep the premium at 0.2% for the next fiscal year. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Has it ever been as low as 0.1?
It hasn't been at 0.1 for BERS. TRS has it at 0.1.
A little bit more money than us.
It has to do with life expectancy and all that.
That's interesting. All right, thank you, Merrick. We will now vote on this item. All in favor of approving calendar item 19, please respond in favor. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 20, New York City BERS fiscal year 2025 budget. May I have a motion to discuss? Tony, thank you. A second?
Margie.
Thank you. Daniel Miller, Deputy Executive Director, will discuss this agenda item.
Tony made the
Tony
motion.
and Margie second.
We're tracking that here, Alex.
No, we're having issues with WebEx. It's not functionable. We wrote it down to the very basic plan.
That's the 1980.
You have a hard copy?
So I just have a procedural question. So Daniel, John Dawson, so is this time sensitive? Because I recognize in 4 days, we reconstitute the BERS board. And I'm just wondering if it makes sense, if it's not time sensitive, to take this up at the first meeting of the next iteration of the board, in fairness to the folks that'll be here, that, you know, it effectively be the budget for them for the next fiscal year.
So if everyone, yeah, there's not a lot of pressure here because according to the law, fiscal 2024 budget immediately plops into fiscal 2025 if there is no established board-approved fiscal 2025 budget. So time is not of the essence for this. John is correct in pointing that out.
I was gonna point out that the turnover is fairly low also, it's not a big difference.
And quorum is difficult to get during summer months.
Yes.
So, you know, all we hear is let's do it, unless it's controversial. Do we think it's controversial now?
Well, I'm gonna abstain, I
Yeah, I-
believe you have I don't know if you have the votes to, I think you do.
I think we should proceed because again, to get quorum's gonna be by
Yep,
itself.
That's why I'm not gonna stand in the way of the vote, I'm just pointing out that we're having new people in 4 days.
Very helpful, John.
Duly noted.
Alright. So, how are we gonna do this if we can't see?
Daniel, you want to summarize the,
I have one. Sandy stepped out. Sandy mentioned that, you'll likely have to come back, based on the increase of members with auto enroll. My question is, has there been any addition to the existing budget, to start that ramp up for support, or is it strictly based on last year without any incremental resources, to address auto enrollment and increased membership?
That out.
Yo,
We're still working that out.
okay, so I guess I'm hearing two different things. I'm hearing Daniel say he doesn't think there's gonna be adjustment, you're saying you're thinking it's gonna be one in 6 months.
I think you should be prepared for that if it comes, yes.
Procedural question. Can the approval of the budget be delegated to the executive board?
No. That seems highly inappropriate.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Let's hear. Not trying to be obstructive, but here's my concern, that we're gonna approve a budget that I haven't seen. And I don't wanna be accused of being the, like a board that we didn't even see the budget. And I understand the technology, but it sounds like a sizable budget, and then, what we're about to vote on.
It's not in the board package.
I mean, it's not, as I asked before, it's not time sensitive. I don't understand the difference between approving something today or waiting till the new board gets. The new board gets constituted and taking an action at the first meeting. It's not as if they're gonna spend the money in 30 days. No, I understand that quorum is a concern, but, you can't hide behind what's doing what's right, because we have to wait for a quorum, we should do what's right. And what's right is allowing the next iteration on the board in 4 days to opine on a budget that's over $30 million.
Should have been.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand that it hasn't happened in the past, but I don't recall us passing it in June, 4 days before new board was constituted.
All right, hold on one second. Order, please, order. So here's the thing. The budget we've been discussing in the past, it's clear that some people have not seen it. I think the concern for me is if people don't feel comfortable voting for the budget, we should not force it and rush it today, because I think Daniel, unfortunately, due to no fault of your own, we can't even see the deck that you could even walk people through, so that they could at least have visibility to the numbers. And so, while I understand that there is, a concern for quorum, I think there's gonna be a bigger concern to vote on a budget that people feel that they've not seen and don't understand. And so with that, Thank you, Danielle. Effie?
A suggestion, Karen, do you happen to have the budget on your computer? Maybe you can just put it so we can see it.
She's having a problem with it. Oh, there it is.
able to see it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. If you go to the right one, and probably two. Arrows.
.1% of.
Yeah, I can't even see it.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Daniel, I got a
Daniel.
question.
It's hard to see.
Is the 5% reduction in regard to, was it purposeful in regard to OMB request or mayoral request? I thought there was a 5% request reduction.
No, yeah, it didn't affect ours.
Cool, thank you.
So,
Need a motion to table.
can I get a motion to table?
The meeting timed out, sorry.
There's a sign.
We have a motion to
So
table.
moved.
Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay.
Acclamation.
Anybody, is somebody taking this down?
Yeah. Okay, let's-
Tony? And,
And who was the second? Angela,
Angela,
Dr. Green.
Dr. Green. Okay. All in favor of tabling this, the vote for the budget and discussions of the budget?
To table it, right?
Yes. The motion is to table. All in favor? Ms. Bonet, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. This will be tabled. I guess a point of privilege, can we just figure out what people need to see, when they need to see it? And I think even when we do it, that we have a chance to just walk through it so that there's clear understanding. And I would ask that if people have questions, even, at initial review, that they please just send the questions so that we're making sure we're addressing whatever needs to be addressed. I guess yes, Effie?
Also make a request if we can have it included in the packet, so this way everybody has a chance to see it.
I've got, yep.
You don't remember what we did last week?
Yeah,
Got the packet. Those people who were here, if I wasn't here, then the packet didn't come by email, the packet came
That should
from.
come from email too.
Came by email.
Yep.
Kunika's fine.
Just wanna make sure, not sure how many people are gonna be new to the board, just two, okay. So we shouldn't have a problem, all right.
It'd be more than that, but
Yeah.
about 5, so.
Bye.
All right, so next item on the agenda
We still have quorum, yeah.
Is- is calendar item 21. Authorization to the controller of City of New York to invest, sell, and exchange the funds of the retirement system. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Let's write this down, okay. We have Deputy Director of Investment Strategy, Salil, here he is. Salil Mehta, here to tell us about this resolution. Salil?
To implement the decisions of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Salil.
I'm gonna behave.
Any questions or discussion, except for Gregory?
Please actually implement the decisions of the Board of Trustees.
Please.
Please, when we have companies that are well qualified to receive allocations that don't move forward.
Is that a motion? Or-
No, it's just,
Make it a statement.
it's a guttural, it's a plea.
To the plea.
That we have these particularly BIPOC companies that don't move forward. I know this needs to happen, but, you know, I just think it needs to give some voice, that it just feels that there are companies that we've submitted that have been well vetted, that don't seem to move forward. And they seem to be held up in the controller's office.
Is there?
And I say that with all due respect, you know, I know,
I'm not the investment staff, so I can't
I know.
talk about the inner work, I can't talk about what their pipeline is, but if there are specific companies you have questions about, feel free to reach out and we'll.
yeah, there's a number of them, but, you know, maybe you could pass that on, that this is a concern. I'm just gonna vote
happy
for
to do
this.
so, but again, if there's specific companies that someone has a question
Well, I
about,
mean,
feel
we-
free to.
First and tier has been, first and tier was approved by the board and has been held in limbo.
I just think this is just a total absence of awareness of what is needed. And this is just, it feels so small. I get that BERS is a pie, just a piece of a pie. But it feels like a disparity within a disparity. It really gets really small when you sit in these, you know, in the context of BAM. It is just not a good feeling. I don't know about pipelines. I don't know if pipelines can change that. I don't know if it's an awareness thing, but it just, I was just like, it's just not, it feels like it's just not a priority. It just feels like that, you know? And that's what I wanna say. And this is where now, I mean, again, it just hit me a little different with these past few meetings where it's just, it doesn't feel like it's even. And then we're still dealing with words that like consideration. And we're still dealing with words that are just so vague and so, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It feels, it's a awful feeling. Cause I know there are people behind there. And it's just, it's not in the language. It's just not. It's not a good feeling, so.
To that point, there were companies that were well qualified, vetted, researched for years, and we pass it, and it seems every meeting there would be resistance coming back from the controller saying no. I mean, it was like almost there was a mission to disqualify a particular company, and these companies tend to be the companies of color, where other companies that you would think should have been well vetted seem to go through without, you know, the same level of scrutiny. That's what it feels like. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be
There was
corrected.
no, I'm sorry.
No, but let me finish. I'm happy to be corrected if I'm misunderstanding or misjudging, but that's what it feels like.
Can I make a
I'm
statement?
sorry.
I think we have to stop feeling and really get strategic
Mhm.
and develop a plan.
Mhm.
It really doesn't go anywhere. Every meeting, we're complaining about this, but I still haven't seen a way for us to sit down, and it doesn't have to happen during a board meeting. We should be able to get to the table if the controller's office is working with us and we're designating their authority to do this, then we must be at the table with the plan. And I really don't like well, if you have a specific company, you know, let us know, because quite frankly, people have come to me and said, no, don't say my name, because then there's a fear of backlash. I've said this once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times. And so, and that's
Yeah, and
real, that's a real risk.
And if people feel that way, I have to say, that should not be the case.
It should not be done, John, but it is.
But again,
I've experienced it myself.
I ask people though, if you know of a manager,
Mhm.
let me know, because there are many managers that have been doing business with us and dealing with us for a very long time. And I have heard multiple managers with different narratives to different trustees at different boards. And sometimes all it just takes is ask us and we can tell you what the history is or whether or not we've met with someone.
Yeah.
But when someone says that they don't wanna they don't want it known that they're asking questions, we can't address that. We
Well, they
can only address what people bring to us.
Understand?
And if there's a question about a manager, I'm not on the investment side. I'm a trustee on this board just like everybody else is.
Okay.
I'm happy to go back and raise an issue or raise awareness, but at the same time, without specifics, it's very difficult to know which managers feel they're not getting a fair shake.
So I think, and I will say, in the line of business that I am, I have seen a lot of backlash. That's just real talk. I'm
We
not.
call it the corporate consequence.
Yeah, there is a lot of backlash, and so I experience it daily. So I know that it's true, it's not made up. Further, I would say, we're not gonna get anywhere if this is all we keep doing. It's like we're spinning our wheels. And like I said, there needs to be a real strategy and potentially a small group of committees that says, let's lay out a plan. And we shouldn't be singling out any individual money managers, because there's a lot of them out there that haven't been given an opportunity to come to the table. I hear it all the time. And so to the extent that we could develop a plan that allows us to say, here's a pool of different managers that we want to see under consideration with a timed out plan around how we're gonna do that, I think is the best way to do it. I've seen in my just the past year, there's a lot of best practices that I've seen happening across the country that could easily be employed here, and they're not happening. So it's not to say, and I'm saying that to say, we keep talking about it, but we're not developing a strategic plan with some priorities that is trackable and accountable and can show movement or not. And if there's a reason why not, then there should be some transparency as well, right?
How long is this designated, when is the next time this will come before us?
September.
Is it in September?
We have to do something. We have to do something
We can do something in September,
Well, let's not wait till September.
Right.
well, I mean,
Right,
let's see movement so that in September, we're saying,
Yeah.
hey, this is a wonderful thing we're doing and, we've seen progress. Because otherwise then September comes and maybe there's a different outcome on this and let's just make it a public conversation.
I mean, I get, I just wanna stay right here for a second, I get that we have other boards that we have to take into consideration. It is very clear that there are other boards and we have to, step back and look at what the whole group is doing. But the absence of what we're asking for, it's absent. It's just not there. It's not in the language, it's not in the conversation, it's just not there. And we definitely, we have to make an action. I mean, I can feel how I feel, but failing is not putting things on paper and creating pipelines. Like, it is just absent. And I got that. So how do we actually incorporate what it is that we're asking for? Because now it just feels like people are just talking out both sides of their mouths. And it's getting frustrated because this is a lot of time. This is a lot of time, and we have real stuff that we're dealing outside of this board meeting. Real family and real life stuff. And I would like to feel valued in that this is actually going to move in a way that are gonna allow minority firms to be seen. There's so much other stuff going on, other firms struggling and all this other type of stuff. So this gets lost in the sauce. And I'm hearing it. I never not spoken in a BAM meeting before. I was just silent because it wasn't about anything that had to deal with what it was that we're dealing with right now. It's just not there.
So, I know this came up at the last executive board meeting as well. And I think Corinne and Donald had some ideas that we're gonna try to put on paper and bring to the board for maybe the next meeting, we could possibly do that. The controller's office, I think, is gonna be very willing to listen to what we have to say, because the star request from the star report is gonna be coming up, which is a sizable increase in their budget. And the other side of it is delegation on the other side, right? So I mean, I think it's gonna be up to us to kind of like lay out what we want, because we're asking them to tell us what we want, and that's not gonna happen
It's
ever. So we
definitely
have
not
to
gonna
ask them what
happen.
we want. And I think we're gonna try to have pen to paper on that.
We go to another investor.
We're not asking them that though, we're asking them to listen, because we've been sending things and getting a certain response. They know what we want,
Well, first and tier was voted on by this board and it's been held up in legal.
so then they know what we want. I mean, we don't have to keep it's a question of, are they hearing what we're saying?
It's just,
We need to track it also.
It's not, by the
We
way,
gotta track
it's
it. We
not,
gotta do
you're unfortunate that you're the one sitting here because
Look,
I don't, I know you're not, we've had conversations and I know it's not, it's just
totally
unfortunately
John
you're the
Byrne's
one, that's here.
But
No,
is-
and I recognize that, again,
Is
I'm
there
not
a
on the
reason-
investment team, and I wish that the investment team was here at this meeting, but,
Mhm.
a part of it might be technology, part of it might be other things. They're not here today, I'm happy to carry all this back to the board, right? I mean, I should say to BAM.
This is like
May I
kicking a
ask a
can down the
question?
road.
If something is being held up by legal, do we know why?
I would say the BAM would know why. The investment side of BAM would likely know why. I'm not in a position to, for instance, here, I don't know the specifics I don't know the specifics of that or any other manager for
We
the.
know what they will say, we understand why.
On the other side, state controller has been very heralded for the job that he's done with minority firms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I just wanna say that Taffy has met with hundreds, if not thousands, of managers in her tenure with the controls office. I don't have the list of all the people, I know she has a list of all the people that she's met with. So I am troubled
But she's
when I.
not making investment decisions.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is, the fact that people are coming in, that people are seeing their documents, if there is a disconnect, or that people, even if there's not a disconnect, but a perceived disconnect, that is a problem, that's something that we need to address. Because I don't know if all of those avenues may seem to be closed to people on the outside, but I'm not in a position to tell you that they are or they aren't, but what I'm hoping is that there's just a miscommunication, or we're not conveying to people what's actually happening within our shop. And I think that is a little bit of a problem in and of itself, because there are a lot of people coming in and out the door to meet with the staff, the investment staff, as well as with Taffy, about different investments. So I don't know I don't know, again, it's hard for me to comment without knowing specific people, but the reality is, we're constantly meeting with managers, speaking to managers, we are forwarding off information, we are asking the team to look at things all the time. So if folks that feel like things are getting, fall through the cracks, that's something that we can address. And look, if there's raising something to me or to Allison doesn't impact whether or not the investment staff is not gonna do something or do something, right?
So then the investment staff should be here when we're having these conversations then.
That's fine,
Right.
that's fine with me. I'm just making the point though,
Yeah.
that, if you raise an issue to Allison and I, that someone is not getting, hasn't been in the door or is getting turned away, and maybe we're not doing a very good job, maybe I should say BAM is not doing a good
They're
enough
not.
job. Well, no, of telling a manager that the better avenue is this program, or this manager, or a manager program. I don't know about those specific conversations, but, a lot of times, there are better fits within the portfolio
killing me.
that aren't direct.
Oh
And
my God.
I don't think I'm in a position to
You're killing me with
articulate
this.
that, but,
So-
any more than I already have.
We're not gonna solve this right now,
Right.
right here in this moment.
What can we put on paper that can move this forward?
So we need to, we're going to proceed with this vote, and I'll work with Donald to draft up a plan to really lay out some real actionable items that's prioritizing what we're trying to accomplish, as well as transparency and tracking, because I'd be curious to know, does BAM keep a list of all the people that they're considering and looking at, and publishes what happened, right? Because it'd be interesting to see,
Why?
right, the trends, the data,
Right.
by race, by ethnicity, all of that. I mean, the controller likes to write report cards, right? So you know, we should be looking inward to see, you know, what is the action, because that will help to inform how we should best move forward to solve for the problems that or the priority that we're trying to address. So,
Absolutely.
so let's start with, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna move to the vote.
Right.
All in favor of approving calendar item 21, indicate your approval.
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Any opposed? Okay. All approved except for one abstention.
Just wanna,
No, we do.
Lily's sitting outside. Yeah, Lily's
And Alice is here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lily Chan is present, but she's sitting outside.
Alice also, I don't know.
Yeah,
Alice- Alice-
Alice is here. Yeah, this is quorum.
So,
Voted for.
yes, I do.
Controllers.
So I think
Okay.
we have 14.
Controller delegate.
14 votes.
All right.
Have a band thing.
The next item on the agenda is calendar item 22, authorization to amend an agreement with Baker Tilly US LLP to provide internal audit services to the Board of Education Retirement System. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Tony, can I have a second?
Second.
I'll take this.
Anita.
Anita.
So it's
I
Tony
heard
and
three of
Anita,
them.
right?
Tony and Anita.
Karina, I'll take this.
Okay.
So, we have had a long-term relationship with Baker Tilly. This is an effort to extend out the deadline of the contract to allow us to continue to spend the money that's been approved to be spent. I'll remind you that Baker Tilly has been our third-party internal audit contractor working with the Dave for the last 2 or 3 years. And she's just trying to finish up some audits that they are deeply invested in. So this is a non-money time extension on the contract.
So there's not, is there not additional expense,
No,
Okay.
it just allows her to spend the previously approved monies.
And is it a contract, Sandy?
Yes, it is.
Does the contract expire?
Yes, that's the problem.
And that's what you're asking, is for extension of the contract?
Extension of the date.
And
yes.
what's the extension, extension term that you're looking for?
I don't have. A day. Thank you.
Okay, so it's not stated here.
That was a mystery. Thank you, Jay. I
When
didn't
is
see
it,
you there.
when does it expire?
okay.
August 31.
Okay,
Sorry about that, a day. Should have let you take it.
thank you. So this is a 2-month extension, request, okay. Any other questions?
Do we need any more time than that?
Yeah. They need more time.
Will we need more time than that, a day, rather than coming back to the? Okay. Thank you, Effie?
I was gonna say, well, now make it 3 and 4, just in case, and if they finish early, that's fine.
You said
Let me make it a full quarter, July, August, September, end of September. We will now vote on this item. All in favor of approving calendar item 22 to an extension till September, end of September, please indicate your approval.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries. The next agenda item is calendar item 23, confirmation of alternate members of the executive committee. May I have a motion to consider? I have a second?
Second. Alice.
During the January 23, 2024 meeting, we as a board voted to appoint 2 alternate members of the executive committee, Mahisha Sapp and Ephraim Zachary. However, it was not confirmed which alternate member was designated to fill in for which primary member of the executive committee. As required by the authority and procedure document of the executive committee, we must now confirm which alternate member is designated to fill in for which primary member. Are there any questions from the board? Okay,
Effie's not gonna be here.
But he's here now.
There's more, no,
okay, so are we doing this just for the next 4 days? Is that what this is? 'Cause-
Possibly, yes.
okay, but if it needs to be
So,
done, we
but
gotta
I'm
do it.
usually,
You're gonna go,
I'm always here. Maisha could be your alternate and then,
I would prefer if you could be my alternate, and then
Aisha, can you?
you could be your alternate. What's different? I mean, like, I just.
All right,
oh, I,
so the confirmed alternate for primary member Antonio Giordano is,
Maisha said.
and the confirmed alternate for primary member Gregory Faulkner is,
My friend Zachary.
may I have a motion to consider?
Motion.
Second? Got that?
No, I'm sorry, well, who was the?
David and March.
Naveed and
I'm thinking,
And March.
you're right next to me, I'm just hearing
I'm
everything, okay.
thinking.
All in favor of approving the alternates for the 2024 Executive Committee, please respond in favor. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 24, confirmation, no, I just did that, didn't I?
No,
Oh,
we-
no.
we have- we have-
Confirmation of alternate members of the Disability Committee. May I have a motion to consider?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Got that? Okay. During the January 23, 2024 meeting, we as a board voted to appoint two alternate members of the Disability Committee, Marjorie Dinstag and Shirley Aubin. However, it was not confirmed which alternate member was designated to fill in for which primary member of the Disability Committee. As required by the authority and procedure document of the Disability Committee, we must now confirm which alternate member is designated to fill in for which primary member. The confirmed alternate for primary member Shirley Aubin is,
I don't know who the
it's
alternate.
either, let me see.
Where are we?
Anyone wanna be?
Number
Wait.
11.
Oh,
Number 10.
We have Marjorie and Shirley.
yeah, but who was the,
Who would like to
Who would
be an
love to-
alternate?
Doesn't say
who
names.
the names?
Yeah, who would like to be an alternate? We need alternates.
So we don't have alternates, is what this is saying.
I thought we had, but we didn't assign them, isn't that the?
I think I had
Marjorie and
volunteered.
Shirley.
Yeah, I don't know who.
However, it's not confirmed which alternate member was
I believe
designated.
Alice was my alternate.
So who are the primaries?
Alex, do you have this information?
Auburn and myself, and Alice was my alternate.
What's that?
Alex,
Alice and.
And so we need to identify alternates, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Alice was my alternate, I think.
Marjorie.
Alice
Marjorie.
and for Shirley?
Anyone?
Volunteers?
Tony, did you say you volunteered?
I think I had
We
done, I
had
think,
some, I remember we had someone.
I think I had volunteered for it. I'll volunteer, I'll do it.
Alright, so Tony.
So I wanna hang out with John. John, you're on the disability committee, right?
No.
So the confirmed alternate for primary member Shirley Aubin is Tony Tony?
Tony Giordano.
Tony Giordano. The confirmed alternate for primary member Marjorie is Alice Ho. Alright, may I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Effie, and a second.
Second.
All in favor of approving the alternates for the 2024 Disability Committee, please respond in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. We have confirmed the alternate members for the 2024 Disability Committee. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 25, election of members of the Audit Committee. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
I don't know why it's on here. During the January 2023-2024 meeting, as a board voted to appoint two board members as alternate members to the Audit Committee, Shirley Aubin as alternate for Anthony Giordano and Tazeen Assad as alternate for Alice Ho. However, only two of the primary members appointed to this committee have previously designated alternates. What? I'm not understanding this. Therefore, we need to elect one additional alternate for the Audit Committee. Additionally, Tazeen Azad has resigned from the board, so we need to elect a new alternate for Alice Ho.
So it's alternates for the audit committee.
I'll do it.
Well, Tazeen was a alternate, so we need to replace her.
We need to have an empty one, so Marjorie can be my alternate.
Hold on.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Will the sandwiches be served at the audit committee?
As the new chair of
Hold
the
on,
audit
wait,
committee.
you guys, you guys are up, you guys are distracting me.
Charlie's your
So-
alternate, right?
They
I'm
tend to have
replacing
morning
Tazin.
meetings, Greg.
Marjorie is replacing Tazeen, okay.
Coffee and donuts.
Not anymore.
Do we have any other?
The biscuits.
All documents.
Dre needs the biscuits.
Go to the audit committee
Yeah,
during
that might change my
lunchtime.
point of view.
Yeah.
All right, so Marjorie is replacing Tazeen, and we needed,
One other.
She
we
says
need an
Shirley.
alternate for Alice Ho. So who's your alternate?
That's, my alternate is Marjorie.
No, Marjorie just said she's replacing
Tazeen.
Dean
Tazeen.
was my alternate.
So Marjorie will be Alice Ho's
Alternate.
alternate, so we need one alternate for
Michelle.
Shirley.
Michelle. Joseph.
Michelle.
Michelle Joseph. Shirley's your alternate,
Shirley's my alternate.
so now we need an alternate for Shirley.
On the,
We
this
need
is
a
on the,
volunteer.
on the,
Audit committee. You're on the audit committee. That's what we're talking about.
I'm already on it.
So we need, oh, you're,
That's what-
oh, you're,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
you're
staying.
on.
So we need a
an
volunteer
alternate for Michelle.
for Michelle. Any takers?
Mayoral should be, or PEP member now.
No break.
Should we, can we,
Marissa, you don't wanna be in the audit committee?
No thing.
can we recommend somebody? Can we?
I don't know if I should step off.
Do it before days come, and we'll figure it out next time.
Come on. You're an alternate. You're an alternate. We'll never need you. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
I nominate you. You're it.
I second that.
So Effie, you're the alternate for?
No, Naveed.
Naveed is the alternate,
Naveed
okay.
stepped
Thank
up.
you, Naveed.
Thank you, Naveed.
Were we discussing this at the next meeting too?
Can't wait.
No, I'm just saying, do we have to?
Do we have
We
to
have
elections?
So,
The next week. What's
so, yeah, but our governance is to reevaluate committees and board positions at the beginning of the annual year, the calendar year.
Yeah.
And if there are changes in the PEP,
It's gonna be epic.
Audit committee members, you're gonna have badges from weaponizing the audit committee, okay?
All right, can I confirm what I got here? Marjorie will be the alternate for Tazeen, replace Tazeen
Yeah.
and be the alternate for Alice Ho. Naveed is the alternate for
Michelle Joseph.
Michelle Joseph. Is that right?
one of the most
All right.
efficient meetings we have.
And Shirley is the current alternate for Tony.
And Shirley is the current alternate for Tony.
And
All
what
right.
happens if, as the chair, I have to be there?
Watch out, Naveed is gonna.
All in favor of approving the alternates for the 2024?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any opposed? The motion carries.
I'm sorry, that was item number 25, not 24.
25, I'm sorry, 25, thank you.
And then a question.
Audit.
Can we, in the next cycle of elections, change that system so the alternates are interchangeable?
Oh, yeah.
In other words, if.
Who's got precedence?
So abstained on one.
Building's outside.
It's literally setting
Oh,
up.
so that makes
Yeah,
15.
Yeah.
Just the point is, if you have an alternate for someone else, but that alternate should have the option to vote if that another primary member is not there.
First alternate, second alternate, third alternate is really what you're thinking, right?
Yeah, I mean, in other words,
It's like-
you could have a certified alternate who's present, primary member is not there, that alternate wouldn't be able to vote because they're the alternate for somebody else, that alternate should be able to vote.
Should be alternate at
And
large.
and it would help towards quorum.
Alternate at large.
Alternate at large, that's a better term.
Thank you.
No, but it's just that, I'm thinking of quorum also. That that if you lacked a quorum, if you could have that person fail to get a quorum because that alternate can't step in, you know?
Understood.
Yeah.
So let's discuss it next
That's a bigger problem for us. I don't think there are issues that,
Okay, can we discuss it now?
meeting. No, because we gotta, some of us have to go.
yeah, I think come later.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 26, the Bureau of Asset Management, MERS Public Equity Annual Plan. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Are they here?
Have a second? Thank you. Representative, is that somebody from the M?
We have a rep?
Can you tell us about this plan?
No, trying to see if somebody's coming out. You need us for the next 3 items, right? Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing.
I have 7 minutes after the meeting, before the other meeting.
I don't see anyone.
Yeah, I don't even have the presentations.
Motion to table till next meeting?
All right.
Yes.
We're gonna make sure
Next
all of
3
them,
items.
26, 27.
29.
So can I have a motion to table 26?
Quick question. Is there any issue if we table this? Like, is there anything that's needed
You
urgently?
don't have a choice, there's nobody here to speak on this.
Okay.
You don't have a choice.
Motion?
I think the presentations were made at a different meeting. Am I correct in that, Salil? Were they presented already once? Moved up to this.
I think.
Can we do it without Bam being here?
I mean,
Yeah.
All right, so wait a minute, stop for a second. Can I have a motion to table calendar item 26, calendar item 27, and calendar item 28?
I'm not sure you wanna table 28.
All right, so can I have a motion to table calendar item 26 and 27?
So moved.
Second, can I have-
Mooney and Anita.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions, any opposed? Motion carries. We're moving now to item number 28. We're almost done. Let's just fall through this. The next item on the calendar agenda is calendar item 28, authorization to controller for research on passive index investment options in each asset class for New York City BERS. May I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
May I have a second? Okay.
Mooney and Effie?
So, Deputy Director of Investment Strategy, Salil Mehta is here to discuss. Salil?
don't think there's that much to add really. It's basically just that BAM will give us options in case like we had one manager that we kind of like we felt stuck with for a while. It should be easy to transition out, and if we have no concrete manager to replace that manager with, at least we have an option of a passive fund. Passive fund, basically like we invest in the index until we find another manager, as opposed to be stuck in a bad management or have nothing, you know, so it just gives us options, and we have nothing to lose.
I
We don't
recognize
have to
that
do it.
we have passive, we do have passive managers within the 5 systems. The systems invest already in passive manager. Every board is different, but you have use of managers that are under contract with the 5 systems.
In
So I
that
guess
meeting, the
I'm not,
impression was that we don't have it for everything, so this is just to give the option that, it's basically give us optionality, that's really all it is, in case something is missing, you can give us what's missing, if you have it, we're good, you know.
I mean, we can take it back and they can do some research, you know, I don't know, I mean, is the request to do an RFP, or is the request to come back with research? Because it says research we can produce, the question is, what's the desired outcome? Is the desired outcome to go procure passive?
Is to have a
managers?
passive option for every asset class that we invested in.
And I'll add, I think there are 2 potential uses for this information. One is to provide an alternative manager, should we wanna dismiss an active manager and have a replacement index of similar allocation. The other is to create an effective benchmark against which we would measure any active manager for which there is a passive alternative in the market. Because I will argue, and I would defer to Salil to either agree or not agree, some of our benchmarks underestimate the potential for returns alternatively available in passive indexes that may be available as investments to us. And this is just a bias towards passive over
Meeting
active
timed out.
equity management.
I mean, Sandy, you know, we have certain passive options that already exist.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be a board discussion on whether or not you can effectively have a conversation about trying to have a diverse population of managers versus the idea of going passive, which basically limits that. So, you know, I just wanna make sure that folks are aware that there are trade-offs. And I don't know if I'm hearing that from, I'm certainly hearing that from you, I don't know if I'm hearing that from the board. So I just wanna be mindful of that, right? It's a limited number of large passive managers that are basically very large companies. And I think that that's counter to some of the initiatives that the board has said that they are in favor of looking into. So we can certainly do some research and come back.
But this is part and parcel of the, I'm sorry, this is part and parcel though, because we were trying to figure out how to transition these assets. And that was one of the methods that I think was postured for potentially moving assets, having these parking places available that could underwhelm and could exactly do what you're saying. So I get that. I think this is a bigger question about how we move operationally, how we move our assets operationally.
I don't have the IPS for BERS in front of me, and with all due respect, it historically has been written internally at BAM and provided internally at BERS and provided to BAM. I did think there's some language in there about going to passive in the event that there's not a suitable active I think it's.
And we did
There's a
vote
bias, there's a
on.
bias claim.
Yeah, there's something in the IPS that guides that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it documented in front of me, and forgive me, I have 5 different sets of IPSs on my desk, so I can't.
I think it was a melding, right? Am I correct?
This just gives us the option, if we don't have to exercise it if we choose not to, you know. But better to have the option than not to have it.
I think it should also be part of the discussion actually from 27, item number 27, in terms of the plan, what our plan is for moving equity. Equities is part and parcel of the whole thing that we should be discussing. Or at least get some edification on how it's getting done.
Okay, so
I don't think we need to, I don't think we need to.
I don't think we need to.
I don't think we need to at this point.
Should be part of the discussion that we table for next week.
So,
for
can
next
I have a
week.
motion to table this discussion, item 28?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Who was, I'm sorry, who was second? Oh, Margie.
Margie. All in favor?
Aye.
All, any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The final item,
27 and 28 should probably
28.
move
It's
together.
28.
Yeah.
27 and.
that was, no, that was 28.
Right, but the it's the
27.
public equity.
27 and
equity-
26 were already tabled.
Okay.
All right, so the final item on the agenda is for executive session. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
Can I say one thing before we go, because I have
Yes.
to leave? I just want to say, Effie, you know, you've been tremendous on this board, appreciate you, appreciate the support you've been.
You're not gonna make us miss quorum. We have one more thing. We need
Oh,
to stay
shit,
and finish
okay.
that. You were late.
Gotcha.
So, just stay. I'm sorry, Effie, we missed, you're staying. The final item on this agenda is executive session. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Thank you, Effie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Second is.
All in favor of entering executive session? Please respond in favor. Any opposed, any abstention? The motion carries. Karen?
All right, go ahead. Second portion. Sorry. It's a second recording, so.
Could you repeat that,
Can you
Alex?
repeat that,
Alex, please repeat that.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex. That concludes the agenda for this meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 30th, 2024. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Can you, who motioned? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I moved to adjourn.
You moved to adjourn? Greg, and who was the second?
What is this? So we have
Alice? Sound
I didn't
like
catch the second.
Alice, were you the second one to motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Have we done it?